Chairman, Supervisors, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Just as a reminder, for this fiscal year, we projected revenues to be relatively flat, very little growth in our sales tax revenues for this year. The first couple of months were disappointing, but in this last couple of months, we've seen that those revenues have come back up to what we thought they would be. We're still about $110,000 less than what we budgeted, where we'd like to be right now. But in administrative services, we made some restructurings and made some reductions, so we've covered that reduction. But what I'd like to point out is on the state shared sales tax, you'll see that those are doing well, about what we thought. On the county sales tax, it still remains disappointing for us, and I think that speaks to the recovery that the state is seeing that has not translated so far here in Navajo County. Now, Paul already delivered all the really bad news to you, but share a few more details on those. Just some of the challenges that we see coming over the next couple of years, we're aware of and that we're preparing for, as you spoke to earlier, Supervisor. This is what we need to start preparing for. Paul spoke about the Navajo generating station, the increased dialogue around that, and that will likely result in the closure of the Kayantha mine. We already spoke about the jobs that will be impacted and the community impacts as well. And that also cascades down and impacts the county's revenues. Paul also spoke about Cholla. Just as you're aware, when one generating station unit closed, we saw a drop of nearly $30 million in our property values. Now that translated to a decrease of the total property taxes that we collect, our total levy, of over $200,000. So that, Supervisors, is unprecedented. The County Supervisors Association, CSA, their analysts did some research for us, and since the year 2000, there's only been 4 instances of where a county's property values actually dropped. And the 3 other times they were actually not as significant. Our circumstance last year was the only time that a county has seen a net decrease in their levy in property taxes and the total property taxes that we've collected. So again, no other county has experienced anything like that. And as we look forward, there's 3 other units. We would expect to see similar impacts for each unit as they come offline. We also have mandated changes to our court security. And Supervisors, this is another example of the state making policy and then handing the cost to the counties. The new changes by the state require enhanced security protocols. It will require some capital expenditures and also some personnel expenditures as well. And in most operations, your personnel costs are your largest cost. So whether we find a way to contract out for security personnel in the courts or we hire staff, either way it'll be a significant expenditure that we don't have revenues for at this point. And this is not only us, this is all counties across the state are looking at this. And we're starting a conversation now of ways to create greater efficiency in our court system and our courts and our precincts. Also on our radar, Supervisors, is Arizona State retirement plans. Some of these plans are doing very well, others are not. The rates are all set for this fiscal year, but we do expect increases for some of the state retirement plans in 2018. Also, I wanted to remind you about our federal inmates. Right now, in partnership with the sheriff and our detention center, we bring in about $1.3 million in revenue by housing federal inmates here in the county. This is an important funding source for us. It's not guaranteed. As you know, in the past, we've had changes in the level of federal inmates unexpectedly. For that reason, we appreciate the funding source, but we typically use it for one-time resources. Like this year, we used part of that funding to pay for our portion of the new county, the regional public safety building in Show Low, where the sheriff and the dispatch units will be placed. So supervisors, I'm talking to you about these challenges today so we can be on the same page, to let you know that we are aware of these. And we look forward to creating and developing solutions for this. We appreciate the partnership with the departments because to address challenges of this magnitude, we will have to be innovative and we'll have to deliver services differently. We simply won't have the resources to deliver services tomorrow in the exact same way that we do today. They will look differently. We will continue to work with departments to put details together around different proposals that we can share with you. We'll present those with you in future updates. Those are my statements for today. I'm available for any questions you might have.
Roger Williams.
Chairman, thank you. Mr. Layton, do I understand what you're saying correctly? Are you attributing the closure of one of the units at Choya as a direct cause of property values decreasing countywide by $30 million?
That's correct.
You're saying that's a direct causation?
Correct. Just how the property values are calculated, that caused a net decrease in our property values.
Maybe I should have asked Paul, but is there a time, a possibility that the potash project might be revisited in the future?
I'll defer to Paul.
Well, this is pure speculation on my part. Yes, the answer is yes, but when is the key, right? So we do have enough indication that there's a significant deposit there, and we have enough engineering that's been done to tell us that it is viable to mine that deposit. Now it's a matter of prices and other economic factors. You know, to operate a potash mine takes about $1 billion to get it operational. So there's a significant upfront finance cost that either you've got to find a partner and typically that would be a foreign partner who utilizes that potash, who's willing to put the investment in return for the mineral itself, or you got to find some other mechanism for financing, and current prices are not where they need to be to develop that pricing.
Because it's still in my mind, you know, what can we offer, you know, to people that'll be losing their employment in GS and Choya Power Plant, and so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
Thank you for the information. Supervisor Wade?
Mr. Chairman, in talking about that a little bit and piggybacking on what Paul's had to say, we had a chance to meet with one of the individuals that has holdings in that, and that was exactly as he related. It's there. The potash hasn't changed in its resource, but the value on the market is what's not at the right level, and they're in a holding pattern until there's enough value in the market and pricing there, and for them to be able to look at the project seriously. And so that's really what's kind of put it on the skids for now. And I mean, we've let them know that we would be willing to work with them as appropriate to do whatever we could to try and help that to come in here. Because I would agree with you, certainly that would be a tremendous boon for the area. It would help out quite a bit, but that's some of the things that they have some hesitancies at this point. And my understanding is some of the players that are out there, as far as like China's one of the major consumers, but my understanding is they believe that they only need to use fertilizer once every 4 years, and when they figure out that doesn't work, that might help out the market a little bit more. But there's some problems there on a global level that's stopping that at this point.
So one more quick thing I didn't mention in my report. We do continue to get inquiries that we're able to respond to. We've responded yesterday to another industrial inquiry in the region because of the resources we have. We continue to fit the bill for potential new industry, and this one I can't say anything about, but there is a bright spot on the horizon, and I feel like we really do have the resources to help us get to where we need to get to. It's just the current wave we're on that we got to overcome.
Well, Brian and Paul, I certainly appreciate your update, and I think that, I guess in fashion of Navajo County and being proactive, and how do we react to this? And thinking about long-term, this will have long-lasting impacts to our community. It's certainly not something that we will rectify within the next month or two. We can see several years down the road of how this could disturb our finances, not only for the county, but those businesses who are within our county. And thinking about that, and thinking about the structure of how we provide services and how we prioritize what that looks like, I can certainly see why we would have to do business differently. What would that look like? And certainly I think this is the beginning phases of what that discussion could potentially lead to. If we're looking at services and maybe not providing specific services,